Welcome back to Business Studies Grade 10. We are still looking on the common tests of September. So we have got a question paper that we have of September 2021. So on the instructions and information, this paper consists of three sections. We've got section A, which is compulsory, meaning we have to answer all questions that we have on section A. There are no options in terms of section A. Then we go to section B. Consists of three questions, answer any two questions. Then section C consists of two questions, answer one of the two questions in this section. So that is what we have. Then on the first part of our question, it's on multiple choice. So I'm going to the first question that we have, it reads, the following technique allows participants time to think of their points, then write them down in a piece of paper. So you see that according to our responses, the correct response that we have is B, which is a nominal group technique. So basically, nominal group technique is a group process involving problem identification, solution generation, and decision making. So really quickly, so in that case, we have got participants that are there that are given time to think of their points, then write them down in a piece of paper. So nominal group technique is the most appropriate that we have. Then we go to number two. The rise in petrol price is an example of dash petrol analysis factor. So with the responses given, you'd see that it is economical. Remember, when it's an economical factor, it's anything that has a bearing on the economy. So in this case, we have got a rise in petrol, which is inflation, which is part of economical. So economical factor basically it's anything that is bearing in the economy. So it includes factors like economic growth, percentage of unemployment, inflation, interest, and exchange rates are also part of that. Also, commodity prices are also part of economical factor. So we check in terms of the next question that we have, which is now number three. Using dash is an example of non-verbal presentation. So when you're looking at a non-verbal presentation, basically it's a presentation which involves the act of delivering information. It might be ideas to an audience using spoken words. So when it's a non-verbal, it means we are not using words, but when it's a verbal, it's an act of delivering information, ideas, or arguments to an audience using spoken words. So when you are looking at non-verbal now, we are now looking at a presentation that does not include words. So words through obviously the word of mouth that is spoken words. So the one that describes non-verbal is graphs. We have on D. Then moving on to number four. Uh, Number four is the dash technique helps businesses to manage change in the business and involve all employees. So we've got force field analysis, Delphi technique, brainstorming, change management. So the correct one is a force field analysis. So basically, when we are looking at a force field analysis, it helps you to weigh the pros and cons of a decision, and it helps you to think about what you need to do to make change successful. So that is the most appropriate that we have for number four. Moving on to number five. One of the legal requirements of a business is with the responses that we have is the registration of the business name. It is a legal requirement. So we go to 1.2. You have to choose a description from column B that matches the term in column A. So the first one is creativity. So creativity basically is coming up with new ideas and new solutions. That is creativity. Being innovative. So we check in column B, which one do matches creativity. So going down, we've got further responses that we have. So if you go to E, is using available original ideas to create something new and innovative. So E is correct response. So we have E. Then you go to business plan. When you're looking basically at a business plan, it is a formal written document containing the goals of a business and the methods of attaining those goals. and also the time frame for the achievement of those goals. So we are saying it describes the nature of the business, also background information of the business. It's also inside the business plan. So it also includes the business financial projection. So that is a summary in terms of a business plan. So within that context, we check which one do match his business plan according to our column B. So if we go down, we've got further responses we have. If you go to F, it is a document setting out a business future objectives and strategies for achieving them. So we have F as the correct response. When we look at the SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis it is a decision-making technique. We can also call it a strategic planning technique. It determines how well a business is positioned in the market. So we've got the S, which is standing for strength. We have the W standing for weaknesses. We've got O opportunities, T threats. So within that context, we check again which one do matches a SWOT analysis according to our column B. So we go to further responses that we are given. We go to G. Is a study undertaken by businesses to identify internal strengths and weaknesses as well as internal opportunities and threats. So exactly as G is the correct response. When we look at the production plan provides details of how a company's products will be manufactured. So according to our responses, we try to go down again to check which one do we have, which matches a production plan. Of course, we have got another response that we have on the next page. The act of converting raw materials into finished or semi-finished goods or services in the business. So this is the most appropriate J. So we have J as the correct response. Then verbal presentation. Verbal presentation basically is the one that involves the act of delivering information, ideas, or arguments to an audience using spoken words. So we check which one matches the verbal presentation according to our responses. So we go to I, is when a presenter is presenting using visual aids and word of mouth. So basically that's verbal. So we have I. So this last one that we have on this part. So move on to the next part, which is now our section B. So our section B, we are looking at business ventures as question 2. Name 4 components of the PESTEL analysis. So when we are looking at the PESTEL analysis, it is a strategic framework commonly used to evaluate the business environment in which a firm operates. That is a PESTEL analysis. So in terms of the 4 components of PESTEL analysis, we have got political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental. So these are the representation in terms of the abbreviations, whereby with political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So the question only requires 4. So we can just name 4. Then we go to the 2.2, explain the purpose of executive summary of a business. So the executive summary of a business, remember, it comes as a brief summary of what is inside the business plan. So it generally gives the reader the overview of what is inside the business plan. So that is the purpose of executive summary. So this is what we have. It includes a brief summary of the content of the business plan to give a reader an idea of what is contained in the business plan. Summary that able to promote the business and satisfy those that don't have time to read through the entire plan. So this is the points that we have in terms of purpose of executive summary, and then we move on to the next part. So read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So you're given a scenario of Sun and Moon Limited, which you need to go through. Then the first question is compile a SWOT analysis for SM in the scenario above. Use the table below as a guide. So we have got the table this whereby we have to identify the strengths, threats, weaknesses, opportunities. So we can start with the strength according to what we have. We check. In terms of strength, we go to this part. This is our strength, whereby it reads our government gave the SM free PPEs for employees. So it means they have got a PPEs, which gives them the strength. Then we go to check again in terms of the weakness. In terms of the weakness, we go to here where it reads only few employees are expected to come to work. So when few employees comes to work, it becomes a weakness because we are going to save less labor. And then we check again according to threats. So what is a threat that we have? So if you come on the last part, it reads raw materials prices are drastically increased. So it becomes a threat. When prices increase, they're going to affect the profitability of the business. So it becomes a threat. And then we've got opportunity. We go to this part whereby it reads Marble shoe manufacture closed down because of the shortage of PPEs. So this is a competitor which is closing down. So obviously, it's going to give the business a chance to win customers. So that becomes an opportunity. So this is what we have on the SWOT analysis. We go to 2.4, explain the difference between internal and external market research. What is the difference between internal and external market research? So we have a tabulated analysis in terms of the difference, whereby under internal market research, we are saying if you are already running a business, need input from customers, then under external market research, if the business hasn't started looking for opinions of targeted market. So we are seeing that under internal market research is something that is coming inside or within the business, whereby external is coming from outside. So opinions of targeted market, it means is coming from outside. Then other internal market research again is conducted within the business through surveys and questionnaires, whereby external market research conducted outside the business using the trade magazines or magazines. So this is what we have on that part. The last part, recommend the protocol for conducting a research. So the protocol for conducting research should be conducted with willing cooperation of participants only. There must be an approval for conducting the research if it's done within an organization. So these are the recommendations of protocol for conducting research. So you see that our question 2 has got a total of 20 marks. Moving on to our question 3, it's on business roles. So the first question reads outline the problem solving cycle. So problem solving cycle, obviously, it involves defining the problem, identifying the problem. So we check in terms of the steps that we are supposed to follow in the problem solving technique cycle. We identify the problem, and then we define the problem, formulate a strategy, and then from formulation of strategy, you are supposed to implement the strategy. So this is the order that we have: implement strategy, then allocate resources, monitor strategy, evaluate a process. So this is the problem solving cycle. Then 3.2, explain how business can use creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities. So a creative thinking basically is coming up with new ideas, is new and unique ideas, and describes creative thinking. So the question requires us to explain how businesses can use creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities. So in that sense, an entrepreneur needs creativity to create opportunities to solve problem and make life easier. And then on the second part, creative thinking ignites flexibility for entrepreneurs to start businesses, and creative thinking helps entrepreneurs to actively look for new ideas. So these are the points that we have on creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities. So with that, we move on to the next question. On the next question is 3.3. Read the scenario below and answer the question that follows. We are given a scenario of Elvis Fishers, whereby it reads EF is the company that specializes in fishing equipment. The company is facing severe decline in sales. The management requested all employees to bring ideas as a large group. So first question says, identify the problem-solving technique applicable to the scenario above. So you'd see that you go back to the scenario. On the last sentence, it is the management requested all employees to bring ideas as a large group. So in that case, this is brainstorming. Is the management is requesting all employees to bring ideas. So brainstorming is the problem-solving technique that is being applied. So we are saying we have brainstorming as our response. And we move on to the next part. 3.3.2, explain how businesses can apply the problem-solving technique identified in 3.3.1 to solve business problems. So you see that they should set time limits for guiding the discussions, and also facilitator must encourage every member to participate, ensure that no one criticizes any of the suggestions. It's also how they can apply the problem-solving technique, which has been identified there. So in terms of that, we move on to see what actually do we have in response to that, whereby we say at first point, the problem must be clearly defined and ensure everyone in the group understands. That's the first point that we have, and also set time limits for guiding the discussions. All ideas that are generated must be noted down and summarized in a flip chart. So these are some of the points that we can include. For the last one, a plan of action is discussed to put the best ideas into practice. So that's what we have on that part. Then move on to the next question, which is now 3.4. 3.4 is recommend ways in which businesses can use to creative thinking to solve business problems. So the question requires to recommend ways in which businesses can use creative thinking to solve business problems. So obviously, to use creative thinking, I should maybe they should employ the use of a suggestion box, so that if there are any new ideas that can come up, they can be channeled through suggestion box. Some people might be afraid to come up with their new ideas, but if they are given a way to present their ideas in a secret way, they might show up and become free to do so. So basically, that's what we have. Suggestion box is another way. And then also we can try to check in terms of encouraging breaking habits that constrain innovation. Encourage breaking habits that constrain innovation. So basically, that's what we have. So we check in terms of the list that we have, whereby I say provide training and education is the first one. Change employees' perspective can be also a way. Encourage breaking habits that constrain innovation. Expose employees to different cultures. Set up suggestion box. Reward creative ideas for solving problems. So these are the points that you can include on this part. Then we move on to see that this is our last question that we have on 3.4. So we'll move on to our next question, which is 3.4. What our question for? The first question is outline the meaning of creative thinking. So creative thinking is basically the ability to think in a unique way or originally, which brings innovative ideas. So that is a creative thinking. So we have got a description that we have in terms of creative thinking, where we are saying creative thinking is the ability to think originally, varied, and innovative, and bringing innovative ideas, obviously. And then second part, creative thinking is the process of generating inventive and imaginative ideas. Then the next one is it's allowing a way of it's a way of allowing business to recognize and take advantage of opportunities and solve problems. So that can also be a description of creative thinking. On the second part, it reads identify the 7 P's represented statements below. So the first statement says resources were bought in bulk and the business was granted cash discount. So you would see that this is indicating price. out of the 7 P's. And then right quality and quantity of raw materials were delivered in the shop on time. So this is product. Then you go to 4.3. Discuss how businesses can apply nominal group technique to solve business problems. How businesses can apply nominal group technique to solve business problems. So you see that the nominal group technique, it is a group process involving problem identification, solution generation, and decision making. So it can be used in groups of many sizes. I want to make their decision quickly. So this is nominal group technique. So the question requires us to discuss how business can apply nominal group technique to solve business problems. So in that case, the group is divided into smaller groups of 5 to 6 people. And group leader must explain the problem clearly to all group members. Each individual silently brainstorms as many ideas as possible and write them down. One by one, each person in the group gives one of their solutions, and all solutions are recorded. On the next point, every member read through their suggestions and anonymity, read rate them giving the highest points for the best solutions and lowest points for one they like at the least. So this is what we have. And lastly, we have the ratings are collected and points calculated. So that is the nominal group technique. So we move on to the next part, which is now 4.4. Suggests the importance of marketing plan in a business plan. So marketing plan basically is a plan that is set to make sure that the connection between the business and the customers is intact. So that's what we have on the marketing plan. So in response to that, the marketing plan is to give a description of the market analysis, is to give a clear picture about target market, customers, competition. The marketing plan is to explain the marketing mix and provide the marketing strategy of the business. So these are the points that we have in terms of importance of a marketing plan in a business plan. So remember, we've got many sections that will be inside the business plan. We're also going to have financial projections inside the business plan. We also have the marketing plan, even the production plan. Also, we see it in the business plan. So in terms of the marketing plan, this is the importance that we have as indicated in point 4. So this is what we have our question 4, and of course we need to move on to the next question, which is going to be our question 5 on essay part. So our question 5 is an essay on business ventures, that is presentation. And we've got information that we are given that you need to read before attempting to answer the question. So on the question part, it is keeping in mind with the above statement, write an essay on the following aspects of macro environment, outline factors to be considered by a presenter when preparing for a presentation. Then the second part, explain guidelines on writing an effective business report. Third part, discuss the impact of using the following visual aids, slides, handouts, overhead projector. And then on the additional part, advise businesses on how to prepare for support material for a presentation. So of course, this is an essay. We're supposed to start with an introduction. So within the context of the question that we are looking at, this is a typical introduction that you can come up with. So going to the main part, we are going to start on outlining factors to be considered by a presenter when preparing for a presentation. So in terms of the factors, these are the factors that we have. We have to list the objectives and the main points of the presentation. You also have to capture the main aims in the opening statement of the presentation. Information presented should be relevant and accurate. So these are some of the points that you can include. When we go to the next part, whereby we are looking at explain guidelines on writing an effective business report. So in terms of the guidelines, you have to prepare an overview before you start writing. Prepare using recite facts, and then we write concisely. Note that writing a long report doesn't show that you know more. So these are the points on guidelines for writing effective business reports. And on the next part, discuss the impact of using the following visual aids: slides, handouts, overhead projector. So impact of using slides. So advantages and disadvantages. Then impact of using overhead projector. Then these are the advantages and disadvantages. So we have slides. And then we have overhead projector. Then on the we're moving on to the next part of our question. On the extra part, we have to advise businesses on how to prepare for support material for a presentation. So ways to prepare support material for a presentation. Use material that is visible for the audience. Select legible font size and background that will be appealing for the audience. Start with the important points first to capture the attention. Add special effects like sounds and animations. And then we've got content summaries of what you want to convey, not the word text. Minimize text and writing on the piece. So these are the points on ways to support material for a presentation. And remember, this is our additional part, and then typical conclusion that you can come up with. So this is the conclusion that you can come up with according to the issue that we are looking at. Lesson 6 is on business roles, and our essay is on creative thinking and problem solving. So we've got also information that we're given that you need to go through. So the question reads, with reference to the above statement, write an essay on the following aspects: differentiate between problem solving and decision making, explain the benefits of creative thinking in the workplace, discuss how the business can apply the following problem solving techniques. We have in terms of we have the Delphi technique and the force field analysis. And on the additional part, you have to suggest ways in which creative business opportunities can be implemented. So within the context of our introduction, this is going to be a typical introduction that you're supposed to come up with. And in the body, the difference between problem solving and decision making. So these are the differences. The first one is saying under decision making, it is often done by one person or a member of a senior management who makes it authoritarian. And then other problem solving, problems can be solved by a group, team, or a group or a team, or an individual team member. So this is the difference, the best difference that we have. On the second difference, we've got other differences that we also have between the two. As we see that on this side, we've got decision making and then problem solving. So this is decision making. And on this side, we've got problem solving. And on the next part are benefits of creative thinking in the workplace. So these are the benefits. The first one is saying better solutions are generated or unique solutions are generated. We've got further points that are benefits of creative thinking. And then ways to apply Delphi technique. So this is the ways that we can apply the Delphi technique. Then on the part of ways to apply force field analysis, these are the ways to apply force field analysis. The continuation in terms of force field analysis. And lastly, obviously, you are supposed to end your essay with a conclusion. So this is going to be your typical conclusion according to the essay that we are looking at.